Everybody, welcome back to episode 3 of the Frontline Realty podcast, where the firehouse meets the open house. And today we will be tackling 8 myths in real estate. This is Jared Lee. I am Dane Whitsett. We are members of the Frontline Legacy Group. We're here in Northeast Ohio, and we're going to tackle some of the things that we really run into as far as myths go, whether it comes to buyers or sellers. But before we hit that, we do want to talk about one organization that we donate to on a regular basis, and that is Bridgepoint. You want to build out on that for a second?
You're going to ask me. You're going to have to restart that. I don't know anything. That would be a Tim thing to talk about on Bridgepoint and stuff, because him and Nate are the ones that went down on there. I just know that it's for mental health for first responders. They're based out in Columbus.
Yeah.
From what I understand, they're phenomenal. They it's a nonprofit. They'll actually, maybe I do know quite a bit about this.
See, there it is.
They'll actually bring yourself and your spouse down to Columbus for, I think it's like a 2 or 3 day event, and will just basically open your eyes to your spouse, open your spouse's eyes to like why we are the way we are after we come off the shift, how to kind of engage with us, because honestly, we're always like shut down when we get off, just kind of trying to reprocess, and it's trying to reset in back into that, civilian role, I guess is the best way to do it, and family role.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good eye-opener from what I understand from talking to Tim and Nate. It's been phenomenal for his work, family life, for his wife to be able to relate to him in that aspect. So
a quick breakdown on that is, and this is getting it from these guys, and they have nothing but great things to say about Bridgepoint, is how the brain processes trauma, then and how it digests it, and what the emotions are from a result of it, and how the spouses and how the first responders can cope, can deal, and how to move forward, not getting necessarily away from it, but learning to live with it.
It's weird because you don't even realize the stress it causes you. And like my son is obsessed with firefighters and firefighter games, so I'll come home and he'll be playing his firefighter game on the Switch, and he'll want me to play, and it's just like, it's weird because that's actually triggering. It's like, it just stresses me out. I'm like, you got to let me come home and just kind of relax for a little bit, then I'll play that game. But just hearing those sirens and everything, I don't know, it's just it elevates your heart rate and your
there definitely does have to be a decompression stage. But again, Bridgepoint, if you guys have any questions on that, please contact us, leave a comment, message us, and we will get you pointed in that direction. They're a great program. So we're gonna hit some myths here. We have 8, and we will start with, obviously when it comes to real estate, money is important, and a lot of people out there think that you need 20% down to purchase a home.
No, that's not the case at all. So especially if you're a first responder too, and you have a lot of different programs. I wish Cheyenne was here, our lender from Cross Country Mortgage, because this would be his bread and butter all day.
Yeah.
But there are several programs out there that you don't even have to be a first responder. First-time homebuyers, where you can actually have
FHA loans.
What's the other one? The USDA loans, another one.
Yeah.
That's for like the rural areas. But there's many instances where you don't have to, especially with creative financing too. You can. That's a whole other avenue where you can do with creative financing to have do seller financing, where
that one's getting more popular.
Yeah, that's one that we're coming across quite a bit, where essentially where you can have the seller finance you the closing costs or a lump sum at the end, where you would just pay that back to the seller over 10 years but have it balloon at 5. So it's at a much lower percentage rate than what it would be through the bank. So that's a lot of options a lot of people are starting to dive into as well.
Yeah, and that's a direct win-win for the buyer and the seller. There's some great programs out there. So that 20% down isn't necessary. Now, it's great to have extra money in your savings and checking account when it comes to purchasing a home, because there are things that pop up. You need to get couches, you need to get appliances, maybe.
Something breaks a week into it.
Yeah, something breaks. Garage doors, apparently.
Yeah.
Sorry, Stevie.
Garage doors, ceiling fans, water.
It is what it is. Things just pop up. That's life. All right, number 2, and this one's a hot topic as we are recording this, but if you guys are into real estate and paying attention to social media, Zillow is a very hot word right now as we are filming. So, Zillow knows what my home is worth.
Yeah, about Zillow. So, and I understand why they do this, honestly, because they'll tell you your house is worth, 20, 30K over what it actually is. And now you have that number stuck in your head. So you're going to probably want to work with, if I see that, I'm going to think, oh gosh, that sounds great, because I had 2 realtors come to my house. They told me my house is worth significantly less. They must be stupid. Zillow's huge. They're everywhere. So that's what I want for my house. That's what I'm going to get for my house. It's a great marketing ploy on their part, because they're promising the world. And then obviously, your house is only going to be worth what the public is going to pay for it. So I've seen people, for sale by owners, this is a prime example. They'll go on there and they'll, list their house for what Zillow says it's worth, and then they're pissed because they're not getting any traction. The only calls they're getting on it is us realtors saying, hey, let us help you actually sell your house. And it just sits and sits, and then after it sits for so long, the public has the mindset, okay, there's something wrong with the house because it's not selling. So
I tell all my clients, Zillow is a great search engine for homes if you're looking. Other than that, it is really just a business, and it just sucks you in as marketing. It's very tricky. All right, number 3, I will save money by not using an agent. We hear this one a lot.
This is going right into, these are blind answers, by the way. This is going right into what I just said. So for sale by owners, or I see this quite a bit, they just think they can sell it themselves. So it looks pretty easy. I mean, they watch what is the HGTV shows about real estate. They're like, oh, this is easy, minimum effort. I just got to take some cell phone photos, have myself in the mirror as I'm taking it, and just list it, and it'll sell itself. And you're leaving thousands and thousands of dollars on the table, because there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that we do. Like, there's a lot of relationships that we built up as a team. We can call top producer agents in the area and be like, hey, we have this coming on the market. Just want to give you a heads up that's going to be coming, and we're creating that bidding war for you that, nobody likes to get beat. And obviously we've seen this time and time again with listings, that logic goes out the window, and they'll start bidding higher and higher and higher. As long as you get that, gap coverage in there, appraisal gap, say, hey, if it doesn't appraise for this, you're going to cover the appraisal gap. I know I'm talking fast. I'm going to slow down a little bit.
No, you're all right. You're good.
They'll net way more than if they were to just, it goes back to that caveat where I said is that not many people are going to look at the house. And it can happen where people will sell it on their own, but usually it's for significantly less. And a lot of people will just sit there and, if they see it's on the market for a while, they'll assume something's wrong with the house. And let's go with the caveat, okay, you find somebody who wants to buy the house, they're like, yeah, I'm interested. Now what? Nobody has that expertise. Like, okay, you got to get title involved. You got to, or you get lawyers involved. And what do you do about the inspection? A lot of times I've seen people that would go and buy from a for sale by owner and didn't realize that they could do a home inspection. So now they inherited this house with all these massive issues that weren't disclosed by the seller, and now it's their problem. So
there's a lot of weight that an agent can carry.
There's a lot of liability and stuff, and it's just like you're paying for the expertise and stuff. Like, you don't see, we're going the fire route with this. You don't see people putting out their own fires at their houses, right? No, they're calling the experts because we know how to do it. It's the same for this. We see these situations day in and day out. We know how to navigate like the title world and the inspection, and especially how to list your house so strategically, competitive with the other houses. And, we do a comparative market analysis, and we look at your updates, walk through it with you to see what, things I would address, like, hey, I would paint this, I would patch this, I would change this, or no, that's fine, you can leave it like this, or clean this area, because, people walk up to your doorstep, they already have their mind made if they're going to write an offer down in the first 7 seconds by the way you're entering.
Yeah, they really do. Yeah, there's a lot of great points in there. I'd say one also, which you might have touched on just a bit, but as buyers going, well, I don't need an agent to be a buyer. Well, so if that house is listed by an agent, that's probably going to put you in a dual agency.
Oh yeah,
and
how can you fairly represent both sides of the transaction? I know there's agents out there that do, but if I'm a buyer,
we're not taking away from that at all. But what we're saying is that one agent knowing both sides of the table.
You're just you're not putting yourself in the best foot forward when you have somebody else. And our team, we won't dual agent.
No, we don't.
I'll kick it to somebody else just because how can I honestly say I'm representing the seller fairly if I'm bringing a buyer too? I just can't because I know both sides of it and stuff. And I represent, buyers when I walk in there and we do an inspection. We, if it's a safety aspect, that needs to be addressed. That needs to be fixed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one that a conversation I have all the time. All right, number 4. This one, especially going into 2026, the market will crash soon. I'll just wait to buy.
Dude, if I if I had a nickel for every time I heard that, I mean, I wouldn't have to sell real estate. I'd be rich. It's just like these people that are predicting this stuff. I think that's the same conspiracy theorists for everything else out there, but
Yeah.
they're always waiting for it to crash or something to happen or rates to go back to the 2s and 3s. And
So there are indicators in the economy and in the housing market and employment rates. Like there's a lot of indicators of what the housing market will probably trend towards. But ever since 2008, there's been safety nets put in place and systems to where that does not happen again. Now, a lot of it is, printing money and then raising interest rates, and it's cyclical. Whether that's healthy for the economy or not, that's a completely different topic. We can go on a 1-hour podcast.
I'll never
minimum
understand the
about that.
logic of it because I know like it was in 2021, it was crazy. And, interest rates were low, but the price of houses went through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
You were going 60 to 70K over asking.
Yeah.
So essentially you're paying way, and doing the appraisal gap, you're never going to get that value back out of your house until
No.
you pay it down. So,
No.
I mean, and that's why I try and tell people, it's like, yeah, interest rates are actually lower than they've been for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
And
We just
you
have
start
a
going into that
0.25
bidding war
growth.
against, 10 other agents. People were waiving inspections. They were throwing caution to the wind. And then, yeah, they're paying well. I remember, I'm going to segue to this. My buddy, Justin, I'm actually meeting with him because he's looking to get his license. But we were looking for a house for him in Medina, and his, unfortunately, his must-haves were like, as long as it has a driveway and a toilet, I mean, that's what we're into now. It could have a hole in the floor, and the house literally had a hole in the floor, and it went into multiples. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
But luckily, we found him a place in Barberton, but that was just like, man, I don't understand why people would want to go back to that because of how stressful it was. You're writing on, 6 or 7 houses and hoping one sticks.
Yeah.
And then you finally find the one that, you won the one, but the one you really wanted was, 100K over asking.
Well,
Yeah.
gosh, there was that house a couple months ago that was, I think, 50 or 60K over, no inspections. I was
Yeah, we're in a whole different market now. So that agent, I think, did that client a disservice because you should never encourage a client to do, waive inspections and stuff just for their own safety.
Yeah.
It's for their peace of mind.
We're there to protect the clients.
Mm-hmm.
If you're putting yourself or your commission first, that's not
I mean, if
protecting
the client really wants the house that bad, and they're like, we're going to go 50K over asking, and I'm like, you understand there's no other offers.
Yeah.
And, well, I need this house. I'm like, okay.
Well, that's
But, I mean, like,
that's
but I'm
different.
like,
That's
yeah, you need to just kind of educate
good
them. Be
agent,
like,
but
yeah.
and listen. But ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's because I mean, after nostalgia wears off and they're in there for a month and realize what they did, they're going to come back and be pretty pissed.
Yeah. Agreed. All right, number 5. The list price is what the home is worth. Myth number 5.
No. So there's 3 reasons, and I learned this from my old team lead. What's going to dictate a house value? It's going to be location, condition, and I guess price also. But essentially, people are only going to pay what they think the house is worth. So,
And a lot of it has to do with the market in that specific area.
yeah. So you definitely don't want to be the nicest house on the block. We've learned that quite a bit. But obviously, if you're going up against other houses that are, I have this all the time when we go to listing appointments. Oh, the house down the street sold for this much. Why can't mine? And then I'll pull up on Zillow. But they keep their photos on there and just say, hey, does your kitchen look like this kitchen? No. Does your house look like this? Is your bathroom updated like this? No. Well, this is how they're able to get that price. So unless you're willing to put the money in to do the updates to get to that, you're probably not going to land at that unless you,
Yeah.
for some other reason, we have somebody who maybe grew up in that house before. They have some kind of
History in
nostalgia,
there.
history in the area where they need to be back there.
No, it's so market depending, house. Like there's a lot of factors.
Location, price, and condition.
Yeah. This number 6. This one really hits a lot. You see, this is very popular on TikTok. There's a lot of inspectors out there who show this. New builds are always better.
Oh, that's not true at all.
No, not at all.
I have no problem talking about Ryan Holmes as a
No,
so
I
they-
call him the American cheese of of houses.
Yeah, if you look at like car brands and stuff, they're kind of they use cheaper quality materials. I mean, they put out a beautiful looking product,
They look
but
great, yeah.
I can't tell you how many times we walked into a Ryan Homes that's been after 3 years, the carpet's already coming up. There's water stains in the ceiling from the bathroom above the kitchen.
Oh my gosh, water insurance on
They're
Ryan
just,
home.
you know,
It's
they're
like
good
hand in
starter
hand.
homes, but you find some of these houses that were, you know, like legacy homes that were built in the 2010s. Their bones are just solid. They're just great homes. So you want to, a lot of times these older homes, they're like, if you compare like the 2x4s from a Ryan home to one that was built in the 1980s,
They're not the same size.
it's completely different.
Yeah.
If we look at the fireside aspect of it,
Oh my
we
gosh.
joke about this all the time. Like at the department I work at, they have a new Ryan home development that's within walking distance of our fire department. We know it's going to be burnt down before we get there, just because
Yeah.
of the materials and stuff. So
Yes,
for a
the-
safety aspect as well,
The lightweight construction of Ryan homes, they're built to go up fast, and a lot of them.
and burn fast.
Yeah, and unfortunately burn fast. So as far as what we're prepared for as firemen, knowing that this is the kind of build that it is, it's not going to be ideal case for us to operate safely as
Yeah,
firemen.
you're getting a new house when your house catches on fire. I can tell you that
Yeah.
confidently, because
Yeah.
though it'll be burnt before. I mean, we'll save the foundation.
Yep. You'll have a basement at
You
the
have
end
a basement
of
at the end. Unfortunately, your house will be inside of it.
it. Yep. Okay, number 7. We're kind of running through these, which is great. I love it. 7. Myth number 7: you should always buy the biggest house you can afford.
Wow. Yeah. Where'd that? I guess you want to be house poor.
So that depends so
I guess
much
if you're looking
on
in,
your
if you're
goals,
looking,
though.
yeah, if you're going to grow into it, if you're going to be,
Yeah.
if you're looking to have a bunch of kids and stuff, but man, I don't know about that one, because you want to buy the house to meet your needs and stuff, because you remember our Medina house, it was huge,
Giant.
but it was a nightmare to keep clean and stuff, and we didn't utilize the whole square footage. I mean, it was almost 6,000 square feet.
Yeah.
So our house we have now, it's a little over 4,000, but the way it's structured and split up, functionally, it's perfect for us. Like we have our first floor office and everything, and all the kids' rooms are upstairs with us. And I don't know about, obviously I guess that would be one of those flex purchases, but you look at the cost to maintain that and everything, and utilities and stuff, but.
Yeah.
I guess you have to look at your situation. If you're somebody who has a lot of out of town guests coming to stay with you, that would make sense, I guess, to have, buy the biggest house you can afford, because buying the biggest house isn't necessarily going to be the most updated house also. So you got to look at it that way as well.
Yeah.
Because you're paying for the square footage, so it's probably going to be outdated a little bit, that you have to, if you want to renovate the kitchen and stuff like that. So I say that sweet minimum or medial area there is where you can. I just did the 6-7 thing.
6-7 made it in
6-7,
the podcast. Look at that.
Yeah, it's just to
Oh, I hate that for us.
functionally find out what makes the most sense for you, because you definitely don't want to be house poor.
No.
From my personal experience, when we had a huge house that was obviously more than what we needed square footage wise, we would always have, because the teenagers would go out with their friends and stuff. We would just, my wife and son and I would be at an empty house, and then trying to clean it or keep it clean was a nightmare because it was so huge.
Yeah.
We could have just downsized right there. And I think that's why a lot of people also, when they get older, after their kids move out, they downsize
Yeah.
into something that's more manageable for them.
So it's so much goal dependent, because my wife and I were also home buyers right now. We're looking. We have X amount that we are pre-approved for. We've been looking in that market for the last couple of months. Found some great homes, just didn't really fit the mold, or they went under contract while I was out of town traveling. That sucks.
Weird how that happens.
Yeah, every time. But as of recently, our goals have changed a little bit. So just because we can afford bigger doesn't mean that we should, because there's other things that we want to achieve. In my personal opinion, I don't think there's going to be a crash, but I think come the second half of 2026 going into 2027, we're going to see hyperinflation. So I want to keep the house that we're in now, hold it as an asset for a while, let it appreciate, and then sell down the road. And that's just a financial goal of ours.
I've seen a lot of people that have been sticker shocked lately, like that have been in their house for like 10 years, and now they see what it's worth, and they go to sell it, and they want to go buy a house, and now they're seeing what they expect what they want, and the price point is completely different. They're like, well, what the heck? Like my house is way nicer, and why am I gonna if I'm gonna go for this many rooms? It needs way up there. It needs update.
The market has shifted significantly over the last couple of years.
It's double-sided coin there. Like you're gonna make a lot for your house now for what it was worth, but you're also gonna pay a lot more for something comparable, or if you need to upgrade, also it's gonna be a lot more money as well.
All right, number 8. We'll hit out number 8, the last one. I've never really heard you talk about this, so this will be interesting.
Okay. Maybe because I don't know.
Myth number 8: investing in real estate is a passive form of income. I think it can go both ways.
Yeah. It's. Are you talking about for like as far as like buying investment properties, or just for as getting your license as like kind of like segue to where it's gonna pay for my Disney trips and stuff like that?
Well, I guess I didn't look at it like this when
because I've heard people say both. I know people that do it both ways and stuff. Like I just want to get my real estate license to kind of support like my Christmas and stuff like that for the kids, and just as like an extra passive income.
Okay.
Or I'm going to just play Monopoly and build as much inventory as I can and have that passive income as well.
Yeah. So I think this myth is more structured of if you're going to be a landlord, it's very hands-off. That is not the case. And
no.
Any investor client that I've worked with, they work harder than a lot of people do on a 9 to 5, and it's not 9 to 5. They have stuff to do 24/7.
We've toyed with the idea. Like I've always wanted to get into the Airbnb business. I have a friend named Daryl who's very successful in it, and he has a lot of unique properties up in Tremont, down in Mohican, and or not Mohican, Hocking Hills.
Hocking Hills, yeah.
So, and he does a lot of creative financing, and I've always wanted to get into that because I've seen people that are the rentals and stuff, and a lot of times when they come to us, they want to get out of it because it's just such a headache. It's not what they thought it was. Yep. But the Airbnb game, I mean, it's also it could be a headache too, but I've seen a lot of people have more luck with that.
Yeah.
That's something that a venture that I've been looking to get into with my wife and I. We've talked about it. It's just, as far as like the time aspect of it, I just don't have time to step to that yet. Maybe it'll be a 2027 goal, but with us still growing the team and everything, my focus is on that.
Yeah, I think there are ways for it to be passive.
I see a lot of benefits from it, though. Yeah, like you said, but it's like you got to find an area that's not saturated with Airbnbs.
Yeah, and here in Northeast Ohio, they'll actually all.
Well, you think about Florida down there by Disney World. Everything's like Star Wars or Disney themed, like all the Airbnbs that we go to, and it's like I think, oh, that'd be awesome. But then I look and they're all Airbnbs, so there's nothing to really stand out.
Very competitive.
So yeah, but up here, you got to have it's got to be central around the amenities and stuff. Like, we hit all 4 seasons. So how do you even? And obviously people have it figured out, but like Hocking Hills, or I would say, based on what I've learned and what I've seen, Mohican, and you could take we'll watch this back in 2 years, is going to be the next Hocking Hills.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah, because of how many. I mean, you have the wineries down there, you have the wedding venues down there, you have the Mohican trails, you have Amish country. So many different things there that you could go. The skiing down there also.
Yeah.
So that's where, if I had the opportunity down there in Mohican to create an Airbnb or like a log cabin rental, that's where I would focus on first.
Agreed. Yeah, I think that's definitely an upcoming area for sure.
I think another myth that's not on your list.
Oh boy.
And we talked about this, and I'll ask you this question is. I'm going to make a lot of money in my first year of real estate. And I figure you're the perfect person to talk about this.
No, you do not. You learn a lot your first year in real estate. Now, granted, we have a team member who had a phenomenal first year, Tim. Mm-hmm. He just worked his sphere of influence perfectly. His wife was the main aspect for advertising for him, and he had a great year. He learned a lot. I don't want to say the easy way, but the easier way. I learned a lot the harder way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely was 2 different.
Yeah.
6, 7, 2 different caveats to that coin. There was like the yin and yang. So you had Tim, who had a phenomenal year, and then you had a
I had an anchor for a while.
But it wasn't for lack of effort.
No, it wasn't.
Because honestly, I could say this 100% with truth. You worked 90% or 99% harder than all of us combined, which is you just happen to have those clients in those situations where it's like, holy crap, I have never seen anybody have that much bad luck to learn from and stuff. But
Yep.
man, you were set up to learn. Like,
Yeah.
I think 2026 is going to be your year. Yeah, and you did have an anchor, which was,
Cut.
yeah,
It
you
was
had a
cut.
team member that was taking up a lot of your time, which
Cut.
is no longer an issue. And
Yeah.
now you can focus on your business. But man, every time you'd call me and you'd like, I'm having an issue, I'm like, just like the last one, like the mineral rights one, it's just hilarious.
Yeah.
A lot of learning experiences, and I've talked to people that have only had like one or two instances. It's been almost every deal. of
Every
yours.
single deal. Not almost, every.
And then you had
Absolutely.
your one client that was you guys would do deals. You would do paperwork on top of an ice cream cabinet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that. That was about this time last year, actually. Yeah. Yeah, and have a realistic expectation. So, I've said this a lot too, is that I've been in the fire service for 15 years. I was 18 when I became a fireman. I've always had employment, even on my part-time jobs, that wasn't in the fire service. That has always been manual labor. Now in my 30s, it is time to transition from using my body to using my brain, which was one of the reasons that I wanted to get into real estate. But although my dad was a log home salesman, apparently I didn't absorb as much as,
Well,
as
I think
thought
that's
I
the other
did.
thing people think. It's like instant gratification, and no, like once you get something under contract, that's a 30 to 45 day turnaround time before
Yeah.
you see the financials of that. So, and a lot can happen between that time. So I don't count my eggs until they're at the closing table and they have signed, because man, I've seen deals just come apart a week before just because of something stupid,
Yep.
and they just crumble. But yeah, you've had a tough year, and hopefully, it'll be a new year.
I was wondering when we sat down to record our first 3 episodes if you were going to bring up my
I didn't bring up
My
like
year
your
or not.
volume or anything. I just said I was, because a lot of people think and this is, I know a lot of people thought this too when they were watching my social media and stuff, like, man, he's killing it and stuff. But a lot of people don't know the behind the scenes work that goes into it. And like, we do have a lot of stuff automated for team members now, like the social media content's provided and you just gotta post it and stuff. But a lot of people just assume like, oh, let's go show a couple houses. I have a client I've been working with for 5 years.
Yes, he does. He does.
And they're awesome. Like, I've watched their grandkids grow up, and we've come close. We've actually had a deal that was under contract, but then when we did the inspection and everything, it fell apart. But it's come down to it. No, I know exactly, like, the house has to be facing a certain way. I have to, the sun has to, rise certain. They have to use certain, countertops. The windows have to be a certain height from the floor and have to be so many on one wall and stuff. Like, the very specific stuff as far as like what side of the room the shower has to be on as well.
Wow.
So
That's crazy.
but that's just what they want and stuff. And we actually
too.
found it. And, unfortunately, there's times where it's like, man, it's not worth the gas money. That's why I drive an electric car now. So it's like, I had to do something to change that. And then you'll have clients where they'll walk in and be like, yep, this is the one. They'll write on it the first try. So,
Yeah.
but I think, and that's the biggest misconception people see, like, you can be anything on social media if you really, like, you post like all your success stuff, but a lot of people don't post their failures either, because they don't look, people know that, but it does take a lot more work than people realize. But you get out of it what you put into it. And, I think if you join this field thinking that it's going to be an easy passive income, man, you're in for a rude awakening, because it's not.
Yeah.
And luckily, we have our full-time, I don't want to say full-time, like, we have our fire service, because honestly, my real estate stuff, I do more, like, I put in more hours in real estate than I do at the fire department, and I work 48s a week at the fire department. So, but I would call it our nest egg of the fire service, because we have that guaranteed income. And I know a lot of realtors out there that have another, like, they'll bartend or they'll do something else just to kind of make ends meet when we're in that, because real estate is a roller coaster ride for, like, wintertime right now. Nobody really wants to go out in the snow to buy a house. I mean, there are some serious people out there, but
Gosh, even just in 2025, going into 2026, if you don't have multiple jobs, you're going to be behind. It's just a tough economy.
yeah, I mean, there's times where, I've made my fire department salary in 1 month just from all the closes we have. So it's just how much you put into it and how much effort. But I hate to laugh at you, but I mean, honestly,
at this point, it's funny. Honestly,
and I think that's what makes our team so unique is that it's we
we're
run it
so
like
mean
a
to each
firehouse.
other.
Because Dane would call me with these issues and expecting guidance, and I would just ridicule him and laugh at him for a good 5 minutes before I'd actually offer a solution and
Yeah,
stuff.
there has been times where I'm like, is it even worth asking?
Yeah, because Jared's going to make a meme. Or
he's just gonna put it in the group chat and beat me up a little bit.
which I've done, and unfortunately, I mean, we do that for everybody. I think that's why our team is so close and stuff. But
Yeah.
it's painful to watch, but I'm like, I know, this year, like with all, at least you have the effort. You can't even say it's not because you haven't tried, because
No, I know.
you have been trying. It's
So
just you
funny.
just had this 1 in a million clients, and you've had them back to back to back to back.
That's all right. You know what? I'd rather.
It's a good hobby. It's what it is.
Yeah, that's what my wife called it. Is my hobby job.
Mhm.
I'd rather have it honestly a year like that instead of have just a banger first year and a half.
Yeah, because going into a year like that, then after you've had a banger year, it's just like
Well,
you're angry because now this is all you know. And when you actually have a normal transaction, a normal deal, it's going to be like, you're going to be shocked. I'm like, yeah, this is how they're supposed to go.
so the better you are at having the hard conversations, and this isn't just real estate, this is life in general. If you're able to have the hard conversations, everything will be easier. And I've had so many hard conversations this year.
You've had them all.
Yeah, it has trained me. It has made me better. It has made me more fluid in those tough situations.
Mhm.
That, you know what, bring it on. I'm here.
Yeah, I just remember the one time you called me and I just laughed. I'm like, of course, if it would happen to anybody, it would happen to you.
Yep.
And it just seemed like an open shut, contract deal. And then all of a sudden something catastrophic happens, and it's like, oh my gosh, dude! If I was you, I would probably go out and buy a lottery ticket because you're bound to hit.
Maybe next time.
Yeah.
Everybody, thank you for watching. We actually don't have a script planned for episode 4, but we will be back in the studio soon. So thank you.
Hopefully with some different team members also, so they can.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a team of 32, so
32 guys
we're going
now.
to try and cycle people in and out here just so you get some different content experts and exposure. But
Yeah.
somebody better looking than me on here. That's 32 members right there. That could be anybody.
Yeah. Big
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
Big expectations for this year. Thank you guys for watching.
Yep, thanks.